And welcome back, everyone, to part 6 of What If Gaara Was Raised in the Leaf. As I'm in a different location, my dad's taking a nap upstairs, so I just didn't want to disturb him. And it just works out better here. I am pre-recording this for tomorrow, Wednesday, the day it comes out, so technically today. But we're on Tuesday right now, because the only video I want to really do today, is the Q&A. That's all I want to do. So if I can pre-record this now, I'll just be able to click upload, and then I'm just going to have the Q&A for the rest of the day. That's it. So we left off with Gaara and Naruto running into and meeting Jiraiya, the magnificent legendary toad sage and swooner of women. Swooner? Doesn't that mean that you're the one swooning for women? No, women fall before my knees. It's my specialty. But no, meaning Jiraiya. And Naruto obviously just goes over to Ebisu real quick, checks and bing. You flattened my teacher! What? Oh, buzz off, kid. Did you see I'm busy working? What? What? Spying on ladies in the women's bathroom? Ah, pervert! No! You're scared of the boy, you little idiot! That is unbecoming of a shinobi, sir. I don't even... yeah, who are you anyway? I am... no, he does his intro. I am the great legend, the Toad-Sage of Miyabuku, the great legendary Jiraiya! And Naruto's like, who? And Gaara actually hears that name and would probably know who it is. Like, we know Genin, who actually, took the time to learn who they were, knew who individuals like Tsunade were. Tenten knew who Tsunade was. She aspired to be as strong as her. So we know that if they just study, they'll know who these people are. They're ingrained in the history of the village. It's still. Then again, Naruto didn't do very well in school, so that's probably why. But Gaara's like, you can't be. You're Jiraiya of the Jiraiya of the Toads, Jiraiya of the Sani. Ah, I see. I'm known by at least some people of your age group. After all. I would think Sani would act more becoming than spying on women in the bathroom like a pervert, like a little pervert. Hey, you watch your tone, you little pipsqueak. I am not a little pervert. Then what are you? I'm a big one. I will never not laugh at that joke. I am not a little pervert. I'm a big one. Like, at least he knows who he is. And they're both like, oh, God. All right, look, you're supposed to be some hotshot ninja that you're going to have to take over my training. What, that walking on water thing? Buzz off. I've got better things to do. What? Come on. It's like, you son of a... As Jiraiya turns and walks away, all of a sudden, he gets hoisted up by his head. What? What is this? It's like, look, I have to do my own training, so I can't stay with Naruto for very long. We're in the same tuning exam. We're against each other in the tuning exams. But he's not wrong. You should really show a bit more respect. You interrupted his training. At least you could do is help him finish the technique he was trying to figure out. It's like, how the hell are you doing that? Who are you? What are you? It's like, this is. I already said this is. I'm Naruto Uzumaki, and I am Gaara of the Leaf. I think he ultimately changes his name, by the way. It's not Gaara of the Sand. It's our desert. It's Gaara of the Leaf. Gaara. Now, has Jiraiya been in contact with Sarutobi over the last 13-ish years? We have to assume on some level he probably has been. He probably sends out information to the Leaf every now and then. Again, the Spy Network is a creation of the fandom, but it does make sense. We know he has contacts and good at intel gathering, so he must have some sort of communication line that gathers info. So he most likely knows that the Shikaku, not just the Nine Tails, is in the Leaf. Now, he does, in fact, know who Naruto is, but as someone correctly pointed out, Part 1 Jiraiya is a deadbeat, and Part 2 Jiraiya is really not that much better. In fact, I'd say the worst point for Jiraiya in terms of how he should be approaching Naruto actually does happen in the in-between years between Part 1 and Part 2, because he barely teaches Naruto anything because he's spending so much time looking for the Akatsuki, basically, and can't find them, as well as doing his own research. He does, again, he heightens Naruto's base skills up, yes, teaches him how to use to negate Genjutsu and make a bigger Rasengan, and he tried to focus on the Fox's chakra, but stopped when that got too dangerous. So one of the big things you tried to focus on, you just stopped because it got too hard. Like, I did give Jiraiya a lot of credit when I did the teaching video. Again, top teachers in Naruto. But that doesn't mean he is a perfect human being by any stretch of the matter. Jiraiya is kind of a deadbeat. Really, like, by the way, I'm going on a tangent here, but when we rewatched, we're now in the Sasuke retrieval arc now. I mean, my girlfriend. We were watching, like, the Tsunade retrieval arc. I'm not sure. Well, yeah, Tsunade, searching for Tsunade arc, whatever you call it. And we're watching him talking about to Naruto about learning Rasengan. Like, I can't help you out. Like, you're gonna have to learn this on your own. I'm like, why? What that? I get learned through doing, but you're his teacher. You showed him the BS. But, like, there are different teaching methods. Not everyone has to tell you everything. But Naruto, if he would just told him what he should have been doing earlier, he would have gotten more progress. Hell, he might have, I don't think he would have, but he might have been able to get a one-handed Rasengan down, or at least a two-handed Rasengan down, because he would have had a lot more time. But instead, you're just dicking around with him half the time. Like, it's kind of, but then it's like, oh, here, I brought you a popsicle. Like, I don't know. I love Jiraiya as a character, but he can be an ass. There are points where I do not like him as a person. Anywho, I just went off on a tangent. Anyway, so he's like, so wait, so this is the Shikaku, so this is the Jinchuriki of the Shikaku, and Naruto, So the Ninjas and Shikaku know each other, and they're friends. I might be able to work with this at least a little bit. From what Sarutobi said. So, all right. And then he just does, like, a quick hand sign, just swipes his hand, and just saying disperses. Okay, you got me. Maybe I do owe you kids at least a little something. It's like, what? Gaara's just like, he walked away in my sand like it was nothing. What the heck? So they really, so he is a Sanin after all. And so, all right, tell you what, let's meet at this area here, and we'll continue. And so Naruto, does the water walking. Honestly, he gets it down pretty quick. There's no point to raise your hands up. Come on up high. Well, Naruto, you seem to have gotten that down. And so he looks to Naruto and says, how would you two like to learn a really cool jutsu? It's like, well, really awesome. All right, I'm going to need a little prep time for it, so we'll come back here tomorrow. Well, that's really great, but I need to work on my training as well. And say, oh, you're training? Oh, but you would pass up the chance to train with one of the legendary Sannin? Oh, and Gaara does, like, he has to think on that. Like, he's not wrong. All right, fine, but I can't stay with Naruto forever. Like I said, we're going up against each other in the tournament. If we know everything we learned this month, it's going to make it very difficult for us to fight each other. That's fair enough, kid. All right. But I'll teach you both I'll show you something both really cool. And so, obviously, Naruto's sleeping, waiting for sleeping. Obviously, Jiraiya has a conversation with Ebisu. Sorry for taking your set. No, it's fine. Had I known you were in the village, I wouldn't have tried to attack you. My apologies. Obviously, they go into Orochimaru's here. He's vowed to attack. He's vowed vengeance on the village. And one to defeat him is another Sannin, the power of Sannin. Your power, Master Jiraiya. And they comment, but Jiraiya laments, the kid, Naruto. Yeah, he's more trouble than he's worth, but there's potential there. And then there's the Shikaku Jinchuriki, Gaara, right? That's right. I often forget that boy is the Jinchuriki of the Shikaku. He's nothing like that troublemaker Naruto. He's well behaved, well spoken, and very kind. So, well, I actually have a feeling you can thank Naruto for that. Based on what I can see, those two are pretty thick as thieves. My guess is they must have met each other when he first came to the village. Probably saved that kid's life. What do you mean? For everything Sarutobi's told me, Gaara was less than well treated in his village. To put it lightly, they were raising him to be some sort of weapon. But if I'm not mistaken, Orochimaru is probably still planning to use that weapon. Wait, what are you saying? I'm saying we need to keep an eye on both the sound and the sand. But don't worry about it. And but what do you mean? Naruto saved him. Like I said, they probably met. They're both Jinchuriki of two tail beasts. They probably ended up forming a bond over their shared experiences, if anything, and that kept Gaara from going into a dark place. Can you imagine what he'd be like if he was truly unloved and no one and just devoted himself to killing? He'd be like some emo. He'd be like some emo little monster. Meta. So the next day comes and Jiraiya shows. All right, but first you're gonna have to. So Naruto, Gaara, have you ever felt the presence of a secondary chakra? And Naruto is just like the secondary side. Oh yeah. And Gaara is now just thinking. I can't really sense that you're talking about the Shikaku, aren't you, Master Jiraiya? I figured you'd be more aware of it than him. Wait, wait, Shikaku? You mean? Oh, so you're talking about the Nine Tails? And well, it looks like you both are up. Because the thing, Naruto knows he has the Nine Tails. He just never, because of how dense he is. Sorry, I'm just trying to put my phone back on the charger. Where the hell is? There it is. But yeah, because of how dense he is, he didn't seem to put two and two together that red chakra was the Nine Tails. Until he finally met the Nine Tails. Like, he knows he holds the Nine Tails inside of him, but he never put the two and two together. Here, though, because of Gaara, he's able to put those. Though you mean the Nine Tails? Well, you both are well, very up on the game, or you're up to speed. Then I see. Well, all right, then I'm going to teach you how to access that power, Naruto, and you too, Gaara. And what do you mean by teaching you a really cool jutsu? But first, you gotta have to drain all your chakra. And so Naruto drains it, Naruto signs it, and it's the Toad summoning. Gaara, on the other hand, doesn't participate. Like, what? Come on, I thought I told you to drain chakra. It's not that simple. It's simple. I've been able to keep Shikaku at bay through sheer will, but if my chakra becomes completely depleted, I don't want him to risk taking over. I'd heard about this. The Shikaku's, it's pretty temperamental from what I understand. So Jiraiya is like, yes. Let me take a look at the seal. Where's the seal? By the way, where is let me see if I can find it. Where is the seal on Gaara's body? Where is, or where was, I guess is the better question. Where was Shukaku's, not Sukuna, Shukaku, Shukaku, where was Shukaku's seal? Where was he sealed into Gaara? Do we know where Gaara's actual seal is? Like, because Naruto's seal shows up on his stomach. Do we know if and where Gaara's seal shows up, if anywhere? Like, we've never seen it. It has, because it's sealed in Gaara, it has to be somewhere on his body. It has to be somewhere on there. But it's, we just don't know where it is, I don't think. Regardless, let's just assume for a minute it's on his arm or something like that. It doesn't really matter. Or actually, the back of his neck would be a fun place. Like, then again, we don't really see that, so let's just put it on his stomach. I think it's just easier that way. And he just looks at the seal and dries, just like, who that? What kind of mangled monkey made this seal? And my God, it's amazing this thing hasn't snapped already. It's like, well, wait, so what are you going to do? Well, my intent was to train you to access some of the Shikaku's chakra for your own. But based on the way the seal works, and I'm making this part up, but there's at least some valid logic to it. Some of it seems to integrate with you naturally, similar to how Naruto's seal work. However, it doesn't seem allowed. It doesn't give you any safety. It doesn't give you any safe protection against the Shikaku from, as you put it, taking over your mind. So what are you going to do? It's going to take a couple days, take a little bit of work, but I think I can work something out with the seal. But it's going to be tricky. And so Naruto's going to spend the time doing that, whereas Gaara, for the meantime, is just working with Jiraiya. Now, there's removing a seal, which is not easy, but possible. And then there's placing a seal. That's easy enough, depending on what you need to do to place it. Altering a seal, we've never seen a seal be altered. Because if you break the seal, like just straight up break it, then you're just going to run into trouble. What I think Jiraiya has to do to alter a seal, this is just my guess, this is my headcanon, Throw your commentary on there if you think if there's any information about seal alterations, let me know. Like technically speaking, Orochimaru didn't alter Naruto's seal. He literally just placed another seal on top of it. That's what he did. That's not altering a seal in terms of the seal itself. What I think you'd have to do is start adding to the seal and then taking away from the seal. You basically you can't take away then add because you're going to run the risk of terrible things. You first got to start adding stuff on there and then. Now, granted, Gaara's not going to have the same type of seal Naruto does. He just won't. But the fact is, he still probably would have a much more a better functioning seal. And Gaara, when he goes into his mind, suddenly sees Shikaku is actually behind bars of some kind. Again, it looks maybe similar to Naruto, but Shikaku's just rages, "Let me out! You son of a..." And then Gaara just, I don't hear him anymore. Yeah, yep, no, that shit. I've done as best I can, at least for now. Besides, you need to get some training done, as that's right. Now the little I've been able to do at least a little bit. He shouldn't be able to just forcibly take you over anymore. And you can shut it. You can you can shut off his. You can shut him up if you really want to. Unfortunately, the catch is that unless you guys cooperate, I don't see you really accessing his chakra very well. No, this is more than I could ever ask for. Thank you, Lord Jiraiya. Oh, well, at least one of you's got some skill. Pony Sage, pay attention to my training. All right, get out of here. Get Naruto. I'm gonna go do my own training for the rest of the week, or rest of the month. Good luck with you. Right, no worries, Gaara. And then, they kind of fist bump. Something. Now, I do think Naruto could maybe, mind you, get because he does have better chakra control here. Not by much, but he's got it. Maybe he gets to either Gamatatsu or like a lesser toad, like like the scout toad that was supposed to be sending messages, but Danzo killed it. So Gaara would go off and do his own thing. Now, I'm not going to go over everyone's training because we do have, like Shinra, there's no reason to talk about that. Keen, no reason to talk about that. It's got some people have kind of figured out. Shino and Hinata, we're not going to really need to go over them either. Excuse me. Neji, just doing his thing. I mean, he's, to be honest, the rotation, he was probably learning on his own regardless because he knew he probably could have beaten Naruto without too much difficulty. And Choji, what kind of training would he be doing? I think he'd be working more on something like the, super expansion or partial expansion jutsu, whatever, because the size of his chakra points would increase. And if he's using expansion jutsu, assuming Hinata trains not hard enough to actually see the chakra points, then that would make him a harder target to hit. Either way, though, excuse me. Either way, though, we would pretty much speed through the remaining of the month because Naruto would still have to summon Bunta, stand on Bunta's head all day. There you go. Gaara's busy doing his own training. Everyone's doing their own training. And Gaara doesn't try to kill Lee. Woohoo! Now, one thing that got brought up is someone mentioned how Kakashi's in the ship for playing favorites. And Kakashi was kind of already in the ship for playing favorites. Even in the original, people said, "Oh, he's neglected." Guy never neglected Neji or Tenten. You're right, he didn't. He definitely favored Lee, but he didn't neglect them. But people saying that Kakashi would get in trouble here for favoring Sasuke seem to forget that he already favored Sasuke. Was the problem. Like he clearly neglected Naruto and Sakura in the original as well. Especially at this point, like this doesn't change anything about Kakashi here, except for the fact that he's now working with one of his students who isn't even in the exam. So maybe it makes him look a little more douchey, but it doesn't actually change much. By the by, so we talked about how Sasuke shouldn't technically be learning Chidori right now because he's not facing Gaara. That was the main reason. The secondary reason is because Kakashi felt that him and Sasuke were very similar. That might just be due to the lightning affinity, but also the whole Avenger thing, whatever, revenge. But you could still make an argument he starts to train him. He's just doing it at a slower rate. He doesn't need to have Chidori at the end of the month here because he still spends 2 weeks in the hospital. Because he maybe is trying to prep him to get him stronger to deal with Orochimaru, because Orochimaru wants him, and Kakashi knows it. It's like, no, I'm not going to let my student fall to darkness. I got out. So maybe he starts prepping him for that. I could see that happening. But it doesn't mean he's going to just have Chidori at the end of this. Speaking of which, the exams come. And everyone's dancing. Wow, awesome. Now, hold on. Just so you know, there's been an adjustment to the placings. It's like, wait, what happened to Keen? Keen was told to drop out because, as we know later on, her and Zaku get used. So, though, as some people kind of realized, that means it's Neji versus Gaara. That's an interesting matchup. But first and foremost, we have Shinra versus Naruto. Now, one person said Naruto might very well get cooked here. And to be fair, Shinra is the better hand-to-hand fighter. He's comparable to Lee, who surpasses Naruto. He just does. Naruto is a better hand-to-hand fighter here by a long margin. Like, he actually does have technique, and he knows how to fight on the fly and improvise. So he's not completely like SOL here, but in a straight hand-to-hand fight, this guy would crush Naruto, and Naruto's aware of this. So they're squaring off, and Shinra just looks on with Naruto. You're the one he calls a brother, huh? The Shikaku. Is it what? Our Lord Kazekage told us about this, and based on our intel, I'm not really impressed by the village so far. We're here to make sure that Gaara fulfills his purpose. Now, what's that supposed to mean? Well, wait till the Neji Gaara fight for that, because spoilers, we're actually not getting to the other two fights. In fact, the invasion was in fact supposed to happen at the second fight, but Gaara and Sasuke did not show up until after several extensions and a third fight and the fourth fight after the third fight got skipped. So technically, the invasion plans are going to happen on point, but we're here. It's like what? Gaara's purpose? What's that purpose? To be a weapon? Is that it? It's like, I'm not expecting you to understand. You're just, and he just gets into a stance. You're just an irrelevant nobody who we have to go through. And Naruto is like, what would Naruto probably say here? So go ahead and try it. Shadow Clone Jutsu, and he makes like 5 clones. Now, why does he make 5 clones? Well, A, he's rushing in, and he's rushing pretty fast, and Shinra's like, he's fast. He's like, poof, 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 poof. And now, mind you, it's the side effects, so the words like Naruto can't hear the attacks coming. But what he can do is overwhelm him with numbers and use the clones to compensate for that. What do I mean by that? Like the immediate clone or Naruto that Shinra is fighting isn't really going to be able to see his attacks coming. But if you have Naruto's surrounding him from all sides, that means they can all look on and do their best to predict where he's coming. So after knocking a couple Narutos out, Naruto was doing the same thing he did with Neji, makes a lot more, makes like a couple dozen this time, and then just comes in. And then Shira is actually on the back foot, because it's literally just a sheer numbers game. And unlike Neji, Shira cannot capitalize on Byakugan, so he cannot tell which Naruto is allegedly the real Naruto. He cannot just chakra point. He can't do that, although he does know how to fight with pressure points, so he can possibly do that. But the problem is he can't tell which Naruto is the real Naruto. So he is actually, in a battle of attrition, Naruto is going to win because his chakra is also just much greater than his, too. So in a battle of attrition, he is going to win that fight, Naruto. And Shira, though, is not an idiot. He knows this, as he's starting to actually get dogpiled a little bit. Just, it's like, yeah, nope, sorry. It's like, it's tough luck, and try this. And he actually spins the clones, basically. Uzumaki, top tackle, or spinning top tackle. Basically, he uses the same thing he did with Tamari, except he does multiple clones, and they kind of come in like Beyblades. And finally, he just says, screw it, and just goes into the, I can't actually remember what the name of the techniques were. 1 second. They're breathing arts, basically. Essentially, he expands his lungs like 4 times the regular size, and allows him to draw in more air, increases his durability, endurance, physical strength, all that. So it's like, this is over. Sorry, you are not going to be able to outmatch my strength, Naruto. Naruto Uzumaki. And so, hold on. Defining style, pressure points. What was it? Seven Heavens breathing method. Increases lung capacity fourfolds. It grants him physical processing to go to the gates. Now, at this point, he is he's Ivan is you keep a clone hanging, but you keep your original body hanging back because he is apparently, I'm just bringing that out, very intelligent, observant. He is very intelligent, so he starts rushing, just puts his gut hand almost through Naruto's gut, just like nearly breaking his spine. It's like, but unfortunately for you, Naruto, and the clones start popping in existence. There's nothing you can do to stop me. There's nothing you can do to stop us. This will happen. The sand, and he's just kind of like, he's whispering something to him, and everyone's just like, what do they say? It's you're not going to be able to turn Gaara like you think, because he's a ninja of the leaf, just like me. Pops it just like he did. It's like he baited me, and he just gets kicked by Naruto. And then Naruto, multi-shadow glitch, and Naruto's like, I can't, because he's not going to use a summoning jutsu in a fight like this. Not that there'd be any real. The only toad he theoretically could summon that would really work in this scenario. Not that summoning Gamma or Kamehiro wouldn't give him the win. It's just, you're not going to summon those guys in that arena. That's stupid. Would be Gamma, because Gamma can in fact be summoned with armor and help out. There's also that really effeminate frog from the anime, which, no, we're not doing that. But anyway, which I don't know that one's name. But anyway, the Naruto faces Naruto, 2000, somebody, the Shaolin Jutsu, Naruto Choke. Basically, he goes all out. He does the Gaara scenario because he's seeing just how powerful this guy is. This guy goes all out. This essentially puts him at 5th gate lead level, which means he starts to blitz the Naruto clinch. It's like, holy crap. It's just big. And there's so much smoke now that this guy actually I can't see. There's so much smoke from the clones that, and again, Naruto's now kind of like, doing the whole shadow boxing a little bit. Not shadow boxing, but you know what was it called? Shadow games, as when you hit someone in the dash, just hit and running him a little bit. And so, and finally though, he gets Naruto. The clones pop out. I'm so tired. It's like when I'm in the previous stage. And I'm sure there's a time limit to how long you can keep this form going. I have to end this. I only have a few minutes left. It's like good, and he just Naruto tries to make a couple more clones. And he's able to, instead of a clone, make a substitution and trying to get out of the way. And the guy just smashes into the walls. I got nothing. I got nothing left. I'm exhausted. It's like, wait, just like time. All right, Fox, just give me your chakra. Now, keep in mind, someone was pointing out, Naruto was only able to access the Fox chakra because he had no access to his regular chakra because they were sealed off. They were sealed off by Neji. But keep in mind, as long as he's run out of, or near run out of, his regular chakra, because apparently being absolute zero is like not good. You could die. But as long as you're like near running on empty, Naruto, by all accounts, should still access the Fox chakra, because we see that happen multiple times. He's run on empty, and he accesses the Fox's chakra. So, if he's because Naruto would have to go all out to defeat Shira if he's then going all out. And Shira is not 100% because Naruto's tagged him and decked him a couple good times in this fight. He's just used overwhelming numbers versus straight force and skill. Naruto then just goes into pure chakra, like pure unadulterated Kurama, well, not pure Kurama mode. Basically, goes into a flaming aura form. Now, it's debatable how strong this form actually is. Because we know that, like, Kasame had more chakra than this form of Naruto. And that was, like, a clone that was only at, like, say, I think, like, 80% or something like that. Also, it's hard to compare to someone like Lee, because he was fighting Neji. Now, Neji was shocked by 5th Gate Lee. He was shocked by him. And it is implied that he should, in theory, be able to have beaten Neji at that form, at that level. Because Neji, for all his speed, he's not a speedster. Whereas Lee was literally like blitzing Gaara. Is Naruto... The thing is, though, Neji was able to at least kind of keep up with Naruto to a certain degree. I don't know. I don't personally. Now, if we're using, like, say, the raw unadulterated Kurama, like the rage mode Kurama zero level, zero tails, where Naruto's tapping into his emotions, then yeah, I'd say that probably surpasses Fifth Gate Lee, or at the very minimum is in that range. But then once you get to One Tail, then he completely surpasses Lee. Then there's no debate. He completely surpasses Lee. But yeah, that's most likely surpassing Lee. But that form he uses it with Neji, and I'm sure I'm going to get kickback on this. He's probably somewhere in that range. He is, if not maybe a little stronger or a little weaker. It all depends. Neji also did get stronger during the exam month of training, so there's that as well. Either way, though, Naruto and him, and unfortunately Shira's now running low. Like, he's still powerful, but he's injured, and he's been doing this now for a little bit. So him and Naruto clash a couple more times, and finally just clash one more. Boom, blast. Shira stands. I can still see the whole scenario where Naruto's on the ground. Shira just overwhelms him with a punch. He says, "I told you wouldn't." Boom! Yeah! It's like, damn him! And just kind of cold cocks and just knocks him out. The winner is Naruto Uzumaki. It's like, yeah! And he goes up to see Gaara, and everyone's like, yeah, awesome! Congratulations, Naruto, you won! Oh, thanks, Hinata, it's real nice of you. Good luck to you and your match with Choshi. So it's like, it's like, don't forget, you'll still have to deal with us first. Deal with me first, Hinata. Actually, no, he'd have to deal with Naruto. I'm assuming that we assuming that's what would happen. But Gaara of the Leaf versus Neji Hyuga. And I'm going to just summarize this real quick. There's no real way Neji beats Gaara. He's not as fast overall as Lee, which means he's gonna have a hard time bypassing the sand. Yes, there's chakra imbued with the sand, so he should be able to kind of disrupt it with his gentle fist. Like using his Byakugan, he would just see all the sand, the chakra in the sand. But he first have to get through the sand shield. Then he'd have to get through the sand armor, and that's going to be suicidal because the sand shield just comes and gets him again. Now, his reflexes are enough that he can certainly dodge. I'm not debating that part. And then the sand is just not really going to struggle against the rotation. Although, because of the nature of sand, it might actually start mixing with the rotation. So when it ends, the sand is just floating and just comes down again. So, personally, I don't think there's really a good way Neji beats Gaara. Again, unless you have a different opinion on it, which I'm more than willing to hear. I'm just trying to think of every avenue Neji could approach this from. He's not doesn't have the speed of Lee per se. He's got better reflexes because of his gentle fist and Byakugan. We know that. That's why, even though Lee's the faster, Neji can easily beat him still. Okay, because the gentle fist is just so hacked. But again, if Neji can't get through that sand shield, which it'd be debatable. The only thing I could think of, and this is the only thing I can think of, is if he's tagging the sand multiple times with an open palm strike, disrupting enough chakra that the sand just turns into regular sand, maybe that lessens the amount of sand Gaara has to block with. But Gaara can use regular sand too. It's not just his natural sand. It's not just the sand that he has on call. So yeah, Neji's not really going to be able to beat this guy. But that's irrelevant because the Genjutsu immediately starts to fall on the crowd. Now, Naruto would still probably fall unconscious. I would imagine, though, Hinata is probably, because of her Byakugan, and probably has better chakra control than Naruto by a fair degree. Probably knows how to dispel Genjutsu, so she kind of wakes everyone who's in the stands up. Shino probably, as far as I know, Shino wasn't affected. I think his insects have something to do with that. I think they disrupt his chakra system to prevent that. So everyone who would be knocked out doesn't get knocked out. But then, Kabuto's like, now that we should begin this. And he tries to do a hand seal. Now, because they're in allegiance with the sand, at least for this, obviously we know they backstab the sand. It's very likely, and not to say that Rasa ever had a technique to, and this is me, again, speculating, fanficky. We know that Jinchuriki can, in fact, just have their tail beast released on command. That's what Rin was going to be. She was going to be a bomb, essentially, for the mist to basically let Snobby come out. They were going to let her get to the village, and they were going to basically just release the three tails. it stands to reason you could still do that with any of them, and that could be the way they get to the Leaf, is just summon Shikaku. Now the question then would be, why didn't they do this prior? Why didn't they just send Gaara there, release him, and just release the the Shikaku there? Well, because the third was still around. You would need the third out of commission for that to work, because the third was able to even push back the Ninetales. He wasn't going to win probably, but he was able to push him back. So the Shikaku being the weakest tail beast, yeah, or at the very minimum the one tail. He's, as far as we know, I think he is the weakest. Again, I've heard some debate about what the tails actually mean. I do think the tails do designate their level of chakra, so he is the weakest chakra-wise. So Shikaku, so yeah, you would want the third out of the way first, and that's what this is about. You first get the invasion going, you get Sarutobi sealed away, and Orochimaru's got him occupied, and now it's like, okay, we're gonna release the Shikaku now. That's like, and Gaara feels a twinge. What is that? And why isn't it working? What? And I think the third, Owendra, Orochimaru, and him are kind of like going at it. Why is the Shikaku not releasing? You're not the only student of mine to have visited in the last few months, Orochimaru. Your old teammate Jiraiya had a little conference with Gaara a while back, or had a little exchange with Gaara back, and he made a couple of improvements on the seal that he used. That Tanuki will not be coming out of its own free will anytime soon. You're still dying here, old man. You take your best shot. And so that's where we're ending, where the invasion of the Leaf is not going to the Sound or Sans flavor, because they're hoping for Shikaku to come out, and that's not happening. So that's where we're going to leave part 6. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Later.